Hey guys, what's going on, dudes? It is David here. We are back with another video. Now, in this video, guys, well, I did not expect to continue about this, but one of my most recent videos that has blown up recently on the channel was talking about Natalie Decker and Hailie Deegan. Now, I compared to both the type of situations and who I believe is going to have a better future, but I wanted to do a separate video on both of these drivers and give my honest opinions on how I feel about them. And keep in mind, this is my opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I do not know that. I do not know Natalie Decker. I do not know Hailie Deegan. This is just going off of what I'm seeing and who I think is carrying their career in the best way possible to get where they need to be, which is the NASCAR Cup Series. So, this video we're going to be talking about Natalie Decker. So, Natalie Decker is about, I believe, 25 years old, which I think she's the same age as me, actually, which is kind of interesting enough. She's the same age as me. Growing up racing, she was pretty okay in like ARCA series, and then she got the full-time ride in the truck series for DJR Crossley. And let's just say this: her DJR Crossley days were not very good. Were not good at all. I believe there's a video of one of her wrecks where she's getting pushed back to the pits and she still managed to wreck. That is still one of her most well-known moments. If that is one of your most well-known moments, that's not a good thing. And the amount of times I've seen her being wrecked in terms of like clips and seeing actually on TV, like from them showing replays about it, it's just not good to see. And I want to say this about the whole Natalie Decker situation, like currently right now. I I do follow her and Hailie Deegan on Instagram, and and everything like this. And I look at the way they both carry themselves when it comes to their social medias and how they are on the racetrack. Hailie Deegan is such a professional. She's so good at handling herself when it comes to being on social media and when it comes to being interviews. Yes, of course, that last year there were a couple of moments where she would get frustrated because other guys were bullying her around. But this year, I believe I think she's gotten better, even though she has had some disappointing finishes. And next year, she'll be moving on to where Natalie Decker usually runs, which is part-time in the Xfinity Series with AM Racing. But we'll get into that later. So, my honest opinion when it comes to Natalie Decker's situation, I do not believe Natalie Decker will ever be a full-time Cup Series driver or even full-time Xfinity or Truck Series driver. And that is just mainly down to the way she carries herself on social media. I'm going to be very honest with you. Like, a lot of you could probably say, like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. She carries herself very well on social media. I've seen the comments that she's been made. I believe there was a TikTok that she made about NASCAR where she was calling out NASCAR for a sport for not helping her gain sponsors, not helping her getting a full-time ride. First of all, NASCAR does not help you with that. You're supposed to do that in yourself. And still, NASCAR cannot force the teams to sign you. And I believe that she actually did get help through NASCAR's diversity program, which helped her get a ride with DJR Crossley, a full-time ride, then get a ride with Nice Motorsports, where she was not able to run the full season due down to her health issues, and I don't even want to talk about that. But I I'm gonna be very honest. I've looked into the comments about. I've looked into like both of their posts, like some of the posts on their comments, like Hailie Deegan and Natalie Decker. Hailie Deegan does get a lot of hate, and obviously Natalie Decker's going to get a lot of hate. But Hailie Deegan kind of deals with it in the right situation where she doesn't like pile it more on herself. Natalie Decker kind of piles it on more on herself because she. I've seen one specific comment I remember seeing on one of her posts. The guy mentioned about something about her like doing her makeup or anything like that, which I don't know. The guy should not be giving his opinion on that. But then she went on to go at the guy's personality and his family and saying, "Oh, you should be if you weren't complaining about me, like you would be a better inspiration for your son." One thing I understand, like the situation, like he shouldn't have commented on your makeup situation, but there's no reason to go into somebody's family situation, like considering, and it's just comments like these that I feel like sponsors look at mainly when they go like to like Natalie Decker's like Instagram. They're like, all right, let's take out the comments and let's see how she does responding to criticism and all this and all this. And they see that she can't really respond to criticism that well, and they're just like, yeah, I don't really want to sponsor that. And yes, Wawa did sponsor a couple of weeks ago, but you got to also realize Wawa sponsored a whole bunch of cars, not just her. It's not like Wawa sponsored Wawa mainly sponsored her and was like advertising Natalie Decker all over the place and everything like this and Natalie Decker this, Natalie Decker that. Wawa was having a promotion going on that they wanted to do a deal with NASCAR. They did. They had some drivers drive specific Wawa related cars, and Natalie Decker was one of them because she signed, I believe she's racing part time for RSS Greenlight Racing. So they had the Wawa signed a deal with them. Natalie Decker drove the car in Daytona, and Natalie Decker did not finish the race in Daytona. And next year, when it comes to Hailie Deegan being in the Xfinity Series, I think that's going to be a big telling because everybody's looking at AM racing and just like, all right, AM racing, with the way they're starting out, they should be almost on the same level of RSS Greenlight Racing. So we'll be able to see how Hailie Deegan really performs in an AM car compared to how Natalie Decker performed in the car that she was in for most of this year. But in all honesty, on the racetrack, she's not very good. Social media, she like does keep her fans updated, and I'll give her that. Like she does do that very, very well. But in all honesty, she doesn't really handle herself well on social media. And I'm pretty sure when I went to the Hailie Deegan versus Natalie Decker situation, I went to this comparison. I just say that Hailie Deegan is a lot more professional when it comes to like how she deals with social media. And keep in mind, Hailie Deegan is almost 5 years younger than Natalie Decker, and Hailie Deegan still has the Ford development program. Natalie Decker says she's a part-time driver. That is because she cannot secure a full-time deal. And I've seen an article, actually. I read an article a couple days ago that was talking about Natalie Decker possibly having a full-time ride for this season that ended up not going through. And I believe that deal ended up going to Maya Snyder, who actually performed good this season. So I'm actually happy for Maya Snyder that he got the opportunity because Maya Snyder's been working his way through multiple different teams, trying to get a full-time ride, trying to get his name up still in the ladder and up to the Cup Series. Meanwhile, Natalie Decker has had many opportunities to prove herself. She had a full-time year in DJR Crossley. She almost had a full-time year in Nice Motorsports. And keep in mind, she was in Nice Motorsports when Ross Chastain was in there. And Ross Chastain was battling for the championship, battling for wins. And Natalie Decker, that was what Natalie Decker's official third season in, I want to say second or third season when it came to the NASCAR Truck Series. So I'm going to be straight and simple, honest to the point. My honest opinion about Natalie Decker is that I don't really think that she has a future full-time racing, and the best that she'll be able to do is part-time. And even in that, I don't really see her getting like multiple top 15 finishes unless it's like a Daytona Talladega, which also brings me to another point really quick. She is the highest finishing Truck Series driver in Truck Series history. Yes, and technically yes, because obviously her finish came, I believe she finished, fourth in the Truck Series in Daytona? But that's the biggest indication right there. Truck Series, Daytona. Truck Series, Daytona, it's going to be crazy. Look what just happened in the series finale. It was hell. It was craziness. So, yeah, you finished fourth in the Truck Series, but I still believe that Hailie Deegan will win a race in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and possibly even the Cup Series. And if she does do part-time in the Truck Series, I think that Hailie Deegan has a shot at winning a race in the Truck Series. And I'm just going to be very honest and simple to the point. Natalie Decker does not have a future in NASCAR, and that's due down to how she carries herself on social media. I believe that's the biggest reason why she does not have a chance to get a full-time ride, because sponsors are going to look at your social medias, and the way she handles herself on social media with her fans, like the positive comments, obviously she's going to handle that well. But you also need to know how to handle the negative comments, and I don't believe that she knows how to handle that well. But in all honesty, guys, that's my full opinion on Natalie Decker. I want to know what your guys' opinions are in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys all next time.